to go live. All right. I'm going to start. Hope all is well. How are you guys doing? Woo. As you guys know, I'm going to try to do this every week. I'm going to make a dedication to do a political zoo recap of all of the circus stuff that's going on, because we're dealing with the circus all over the United States. Yes, we must flip Chicago red. We must. It's the only way. It's the only way. It's the only way. Absolutely right, Oscar Mike. So I'm going to get into it. People, yesterday we had a great event with Dr. Pamela Denise Long. She's running for U.S. Senate Dick Durbin's seat. She came to speak with us at the library, and it went really well. So the live is on our X page. So if you guys are not doing anything, catch that out. We welcome. I also had the honor of interviewing her as well on this platform, and looking to interview any more other political candidates as well. We have not endorsed anyone yet, but do not be looking for any type of endorsement over here if you will not come on this platform and let the people know who you are and how you are. We're doing it much different this time. We're not going to continue to keep the same stuff going and going and going. Now, we need to talk to you. We need to see your personality. We need to see where you're at with it, because we cannot continue to let this political cycle continue to happen. So, yeah, we're going to be very mindful this time. Republican, I don't care if you're Republican, if you're independent. I am anti-Democrat, so I really don't care to hear nothing a Democrat got to say, because y'all have the same. Y'all are never going to change them policies, so nothing's really going to change with that. So it is what it is. You got to be willing to make some sacrifices that needs to happen, and the Democratic Party is not going to let you do that. The people who the slave masters of the Democratic Party is not going to let y'all do that. So I don't have to worry about that. So no, there's nothing that will make me change my mind when it comes to the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party does not do nothing for the communities. They do not care about the children. They do not care about the elders. They don't care about businesses. They don't care about family. They don't care about common sense. They don't care about anything but their weird Marxist agenda that they're dealing with now. This progressive agenda, and these black boule dummies that think that they are going to continue to shut us out because they are in a fraternity, a sorority. They're with the elites and all that stuff. Now, we're all elite. I think you need to understand, we're all elite. All right. I saw this earlier today. So yesterday, they said former Illinois Black Panther Party headquarters on near West Side honored with plaque to preserve history. Of course, one thing the Democratic Party gonna do is get us some plaques now. So it was the first of 13 plaques. Oh, we're gonna get 13 to be placed around Chicago, denoting historic sites of the Black Panther Party. They were first revealed last October after a fight over how the organization's legacy would be preserved. Isn't that crazy? And this is, as you see, this is Bobby Coon Rush, who was a U.S. Former U.S. Representative that definitely snitched on, worked with the FBI, because I don't understand how you come from the Panthers, go in there, and then don't make nothing happen for the black community. Bobby Rush. Dozens gather Saturday morning as the since demolished Illinois Black Panther Party headquarters. Because you know one thing about Chicago, they'll demolish a building now. Now, why would you demolish the Illinois Black Panther Party headquarters? Why didn't that stay a landmark? Why didn't that stay a museum? You probably would have been bringing lots of money in to the city if y'all would let it be a museum, but no. No, I will not support Gianno Caldwell. I don't even know who that is. Dozens gather Saturday morning as the since demolished Illinois Black Panther Party headquarters was honored with a plaque in the sidewalk where it once stood on the near west side. It was one of the 12 plaques to be placed around Chicago, as well as another in Peoria. Ooh, Peoria. Denoting historic sites of the Black Panther Party in Illinois, the full set will be permanently placed before October 15th, said Leela Wills, executive director of the Historical Preservation Society of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party. All that long ass name for all that to give you is a plaque. That's all we worth, the plaque. They were first revealed last October after a fight. Then you get the plaques after y'all got to fight, after y'all had to fight for it, on how the organization's legacy would be preserved. Billy Chi Brooks, former Deputy Minister of Education for the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther, said it was important for the party to tell its history through its members instead of letting others do it and properly distort it. It's important that young people have the opportunity to look and see and feel the essence of our struggle with a plaque. Yes, with a plaque as an inspiration to them. Yes. You had a whole building that the city demolished that could have made money for the city. But we're going to give y'all a plaque, 13 of them, after y'all fought about how you guys would continue the legacy on for the Black Panther Party. So great. These monuments are a reminder, a plaque maybe. It's a plaque. These monuments are a reminder of what was done and what can be done. The conditions that existed at the start of the Black Panther Party are the conditions that exist today. Yeah. Featured speaker Bobby Coon Rush, a former member of Congress and co-founder of the Illinois Black Panther Party, said his heart was full seeing the plaque and crowd around it. I never would have even imagined. This is from Bobby Coon Rush, y'all. This is what he said. I never would have even imagined that I would be here with each of you today, back in 1968. Yes, I'm sure you did imagine, because you definitely snitched. That's why you were able to get into Congress as a Black Panther. Rush said in his remarks to the crowd, "This is about those who dedicated their lives, their futures, and their families to making the dream of the Black Panther Party a reality." Others' location, soon to be added to the trail, 1512 South Pulaski Road, where the group's free breakfast program was started and should still be happening because people is hungry. 2337 West Monroe Street, the apartment building where Fred Hampton and other party members were assassinated during a 1969 raid led by Chicago police and orchestrated by the FBI, and 3850 West 16th Street, where the chapter's free medical center once stood. Everything from the breakfast to the free medical, y'all gonna put some plaques there. That's how you get it. That's how you repay us. Thank you. Get some plaques over there where the free medical center once stood, and then a free breakfast that he was feeding the children. Yes, Bobby Rush, your heart is full for that. Bobby Coons Rush, his heart is full for that. This event featured several Coon speakers, including Cook County Commissioner Tara Stamps, Alderman, oh my God, Walter Burnett Jr., and Desmond Yancey. Mama Doris, Desmond Yancey out here. And Frederica Newton, the widow of party founder Huey P. Newton. The Black Panther, founded in the 1960s, grew out the Black Power movement and provided services like free breakfast and health care around the country. Free breakfast and health care around the country. And they killed the people who started it. And now we still cannot, if they were able to get, if the Black Panther Party was able to provide free breakfast and health care around the country in the 1960s, why can't we do it right now? Does anybody know? Does anybody know? Hey, it's over here, y'all. Sorry. I'm using two things. Like until I get this stuff together, I gotta use my phone, use my other phone, and my computer so I can put stuff up here. All right. The FBI deemed it a violent organization. Yes, of course. Feeding people and giving free health care. Absolutely. Yes. Whew. Too violent. The FBI deemed it a violent organization and launched a counterintelligence program against them. Woo! All that for free breakfast and free health care. And Daley Sr. never said nothing about it. Woo-hoo. Democratic Party, baby. Democratic Party! They gunned down several members, including Mark Clark and Hampton, the local chair at the time. Fred Hampton Jr., son of the late leader, at one point appeared at Saturday's event to voice his displeasure and accused the organizers of being controlled by the government. All right. Okay, at least glad you went over there, Junior, because yes, absolutely. Event accused the organizer of being controlled by the government, though he walked off shortly after the calls of "We love you, Fred," started by Rush. Bobby Coon Rush. I wish I would have went over there. I'm so mad that I did not make it to this event. I would have protested this event for you, Fred Hampton Jr., because we already know Bobby Coon Rush. I don't even know how he's fuck Bobby. That's what we're gonna deal with. Fuck Bobby Rush. All right, Joan McCarty joined the Panthers in 1969 after her sister's boyfriend was killed by Chicago police officers. She worked with the prison bus program to help families with their loved ones who were incarcerated. McCarty had first met Hampton on the sidewalk where she stood with her daughter Saturday watching the plaque being unveiled. You grow up in Chicago, you experience racism and all sorts of things, but that made me know I needed to do something more. McCarty said, "It was one of my proudest moments." She now teaches a class on the Black Panther Party and is putting together an oral history through surviving members, which she sees as a parallel to the plaques and the importance of keeping that history alive. It is so important for people to understand the party when we're facing fascism. We're not, you know what? That's the only part. Who's? I want to know where are we facing this at? Like, where is she coming at this at? Because the issue is we're dealing with fascism in our own community. Y'all just find all these new words. We're going to have to struggle. We're going to have the spirit of the party and embrace freedom for all oppressed working people. Don't rest on your laurels. There's more work to be done. Bobby Coon Rush agreed with the former comrade and urged the crowd into action against President Donald Trump and others carrying out the administration's agenda which has targeted immigration and slashed funding for programs that help low-income families, such as food assistance and Medicaid. They targeted they targeted the Black Panthers administration that was giving free health care and breakfast all around the country. They learned how to organize, mobilize without social media, without any of these things that we have now. And you decide to work for the very same government that destroyed what the Black Panthers administration was doing. But now in 2025, you have the nerve to say that we need to go against Donald Trump for his agenda, which is targeting immigration that's came into our communities and has harmed us. Okay? We have data that proves how much this immigration has harmed our communities, and for you to be almost 105 years old and you being in Congress and you also seeing, look at our communities, because what did you do besides walk around and nod and take pictures and say, I'm Bobby Rush. Yeah, I was with the Black Panthers. I was Bobby Rush. I was with the Black Panthers. Yes, I'm Bobby Rush. I was with the Black Panthers. I used to talk to Fred Hampton all the time. You happen to not be there when Fred Hampton got shot, though. Well, Bobby Rush is the same thing as Jesse Jackson. They're the same person. They probably was in the FBI. Probably had them in two separate rooms. Like they probably got like the black snitch room, and Bobby Rush was in one of them, and Jesse Jackson was in the other. Okay. Now, if we don't resist them with everything we have, they will be successful. So don't give up on the movement. The movement, they gave up when they came and shot, when you let them go in there and shoot up Fred Hampton, and then you stopped the free health care and the breakfasts that was happening all over the country with the Black Panthers. That's when the movement movement ended right there. Like that was it. So yeah, you gave up on the movement. You gave up on the movement and got into and went and took this little job and did nothing. You did absolutely nothing. All right. Come up out of that rocking chair, off that sofa. Get involved. Yes, get involved to vote these people up out of office, and don't listen to anything this man say. Yes, get up off. Yes, come up off that rocking chair, off that sofa, and get involved to register as a Republican. Okay, get these coon Negroes out of office. Out of office. Any coon Negro by the name of Bobby Rush, Jesse Jackson, anybody affiliated, their children, any of those people, we don't take any advice from them. There's nothing that they can say that we'd be like, yup, that's the way to go. That's right, because they have done nothing but grift and make money off of us being oppressed by their families have everything. The world still needs what you have to offer. Now more than ever, the spirit of Fred Hampton lives. Yes, his son that just cursed you out, he not even with the bullshit. Enough is enough. And then, of course, they had a little guy over there that was 10, and he watched the unveiling with his grandmother, And she said it was better than learning in school. Of course, because they're not teaching none of these kids nothing in school. But if they want to be a boy or a girl, and if they want to be a boy and they're a girl, and they're a girl and a boy, and if you try to convince your child that you are trans at 7 years old, of course they're not going to teach you anything about this. So yeah, so I wanted to break that down to y'all. It's disrespectful. Because they think we're stupid and we're not, and they're starting to see that we're waking up, which I appreciate you guys waking up, because if you don't wake up, man, we somewhere else, man. So I want, we ain't looking too good. Ain't looking too good. So I want to bring up the next thing before I get to the CTU leaked budget. Let's see if I can say this. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate the super chat. Candace. Thank you very much. I love that name. Candace, one of my favorite names. And the way you spell it too. Thank you. All right. So now we're going to move this, and we're going to, I got my little hat on, take the crook out of Cook County. Yes. What's her name? Tony DeRain Prankwinkle. I'm coming for ya. I'm going to get you up out that seat. Buddy. You and Timothy Evans. All right. I don't know if you guys saw this, or we're going to start with this. As you know, that Walter Burnett is still trying to tap in to get to be the CEO of CHA, which is crazy. Which is all right. So this is Alderman Walter Burnett's wife violated Chicago Housing Authority ethics policy. All right. So we're gonna get into this. Get back. All right. All right. Sorry about that. All right. It's too big. All right. So let's get into it. So that's Walter Burnett's wife, Darlena. Darlena is a little thug herself. Okay. She's a little thug shorty. They got him a little thug. She a thug. He a thug. They thugging together. All right. Alderman Walter Burnett's wife violated Chicago housing ethics policy by Lizzie Kane. Shout out to Lizzie. Darlena Williams Burnett, the wife of Alderman Walter Burnett, who is the front runner to be the next Chicago Housing Authority CEO, which is crazy, violated the Housing Authority's ethics policy when employed by the agency in 2022. That's why she left. Now, she said she left because of breast cancer, and that probably was, the breast cancer probably really started attacking her after that, because she was going to get up out of there anyway. So she resigned because of that. But she left. But we did. But she said she was leaving because of her breast cancer, and I think also she's saying that it was getting too crazy over there. But it's really because of this. According to documents obtained through a Tribune public records request, Williams Burnett serves as the chair of Chicago Intellect Political Action Committee and did not disclose the position to CHA, a violation of the Hatch Act. They get everybody with this Hatch Act now. The federal law that restricts the political activity of some government workers and a component of CHA's ethics policy. It is our conclusion that Williams Burnett violated the ethics policy in her false and intentional denial of holding any position with the PAC or knowing anything of his activity. This was the PAC where they was stealing a lot of that money, the TIF money, and any developers and stuff that was coming in. He was, I told you they was setting up shops, selling out all the 27th Ward and stuff like that. Mays Jackson, all them. Gang is all together and all that stuff. This was the PAC that they was using to funnel the money and all that stuff. Thug and Thugetta. Okay. Now, said the CHA's officer in an April 2022 email to the then CHA CEO Tracy Scott. Tracy Scott was a terrible human being. Okay, the Human Resources Director, Inspector General. So I'm pretty sure Tracy Scott didn't do anything because Tracy Scott was just collecting money. She was by far the worst. The worst. She should be on the do not hire list. She should never work in any government position ever again. She was ass. The ethics officer cited the CHA's ethics policy that stated if any employee fails to provide documents or information requested by the ethics officer who furnishes false or misleading information to the ethics office with the intent to mislead shall be subject to removal from office, employment sanctions, or the cancellation of contract rights. That's why she got the fuck up out of there. Williams Burnett, who had been deputy chief of fleet and facilities in CHA's General Services Department, had already informed the Housing Authority of her planned June 2022 resignation in February of that same year. I bet you did. She now works as a real estate agent. That's what they all do. They all work. I'm trying to tell you, these are criminals. This is a criminal organization. These are all criminals that work all together. All these people. So it's one big conflict of interest. It's one big RICO. She now works as a real estate agent, according to her LinkedIn page. Wow, can't open it. That's her. We had called our lawyers, and our lawyers said she didn't violate anything. Burnett told the Tribune Wednesday, adding that he also spoke with then Mayor Lightfoot. So Burnett said he called his lawyers, and the lawyers said they didn't violate anything. That she didn't violate anything. Just like you don't think you violated anything. She never got any paperwork or anything in regards to that, just a conversation. That was it. That's why she got up out of there. Burnett said his wife had already planned to retire at the time. He said his lawyers told him recently that his wife should resign from her position on the PAC in the event that he does get CHA's top job. Williams Burnett did not respond to Tribune request to comment, and Burnett said his wife declined to comment. I bet she did. CHA said it could not comment on personnel matters. Of course not. During her 8-year CHA tenure, Williams Burnett also received a written reprimand from the chief operations officer for missing a meeting where she was scheduled to brief board members on an upcoming board member agenda item. I wonder what that agenda item was. She was unreachable shortly after the meeting start time, and when later asked to explain her absence, she said she missed it, according to the written reprimand. Of course, because it was probably something that had to do with her no good ass husband, having to do with probably something that has to do with over there in the 27th Ward with CHA and one of them developers. Williams Burnett was then instructed on corrective actions, including ensuring her availability for meetings, having alternative arrangements in the event that she was unavailable to attend meetings, and answer her work phone. The PAC was created in 2018. The group's purpose, per the Illinois State Board of Elections, is to promote and support organizations that advance and protect the interests of the citizens of Chicago. Walter Burnett and his wife. The interests of the citizens of Chicago. The king of displacement. The king of displacement. The king of displacement. Burnett, 20 sound like Dr. Umar right there, saying it 3 times. Burnett's praying for Dr. Umar too, because he's going through some tough times right now. Burnett, 27th, will resign from the city council, where he represents a West Side ward spanning some of the richest and poorest neighborhoods at the end of the month. He was expressed deep interest in taking helm at CHA. No, the hell you won't. The Tribune first reported June 28th that Burnett was a candidate for that position. Now, move this. All right, ain't that fair? At what point, Molly? At what point? I don't care about nothing. Now, this is Lizzie. Shout out to Lizzie, man. Okay, Lizzie Kane. Lizzie Kane is a former reporter. Former reporter for the Chicago Tribune. But after she wrote this, she does a lot of reporting on CHA, HUD, housing. Housing is her thing. The next day, she posted and said, "I don't post on this platform anymore, but today is an exception. I've been laid off by the Chicago Tribune. It was a joy working with so many amazing people in this newsroom." Yes, after she put that out. Poor Lizzie. Lizzie, you want to come on down to Chicago Flips Red? We'll let you rock out. We'll let you talk find your, don't care over here, okay? We want real news, real people, and that's the whole point of journalism. You did something that probably no one has ever done before, and that was find that out that they probably been trying to hide for forever. So shout out to Lizzie. You are a hero. You are a superhero. And I hope that someone hires you and you continue to do your work when it comes to housing and CHA and anything that has to do with all this exposed, all this corruption, all these key players, all that. You did exactly what you're supposed to do. You look young. I don't know if you're young. You might be my age. I don't know. However, shout out to you, Lizzie. They tried, they did the same guy who broke the Laquan McDonald story. They got him up out of here. He had to go to DC and find get another job at DC. But I'm just letting you know, don't give up. Shout out to you and shout out to that that article that you did. And fuck Chicago Tribune. All right. Okay. Now let's get into shout out, man. I really don't do that to poor Lizzie, man. Lizzie just doing her job. Lizzie just doing her job. People done lost their mind. Democratic Party in Chicago, they crumbling. They don't know what to do. And I need them to hurry up, pay my mom, all that stuff, so I can go on my detox and lose this weight. Except I've never been this big, but I gotta do certain things. But yeah. No, I'm saying to myself like, damn, I got. But we getting it good. But until then, I'm gonna expose all this stuff. All right, let's get into this. The CTU budget for 2026 that was leaked. All right. Hope all is well. All right. Trying to figure out where my stuff is. Got all these petitions. 1,000 petitions. No, they don't want real. Hold on. I'll be back. Trying to find my all right. All right. Woo. Get this down. Okay, all right. So remove myself. All right. Okay. I gotta go back and forth. I gotta maneuver. I'm getting this together though. I need to get me a printer. All right. There we go. So this is the breakdown of the CTU budget and the political spending. So the school board and the municipal elections, they had 1 million for 2025 and 3 million in 2026 earmarked. This huge chunk of money is targeted to influence November 2026 school board elections. All 20 members plus the citywide board president. It's also likely to fund Chicago City Council candidates. So you already know that's what they do. So it's not likely, they will. Ahead for the February 2027. I hope y'all hear me. Just making sure. Okay, just show me something. All right. It's also likely to fund Chicago City Council candidates ahead of the February 2027 municipal elections. So, as you know, they funded a lot of the Marxist city city council members down there. I know one being, well, he's not a city council member anymore. They moved, they did musical chairs with him. but was Carlos Ramirez Rosa, Brian Sichel Lopez, Jeanette Taylor, all that. For the candidates that they spent a lot of money for, they spent $516,000 on Reverend Robert Jones. He lost. They spent $502,000 on hold on. It's about 200. No, the average is 300. So 300,000 for Reverend Robert Jones. He lost. Ebony DeBerry, District 2. They spent about 300,000. Karen Zakor, 100,000. Jason Jones, over 300,000. Anush, 200,000. Felix. So yeah, so they average around 200 to 300. I mean, 150,000 to $50,000 that they use of y'all money. Well, the CTU, the teachers' money. So, because it's a game, baby. It's a game. It's a game. You gotta have the money, and they are bankrupting CTU just to try to stay in power while damaging about 40% to 50% of Chicago because they're controlling it and damaging. And our kids we have no curriculum. They're not teaching them anything. But they've got all this money to push their people who have their agenda, but have no education experience at all. As long as they align with what they are told to do, they are going to do it. Some of this cash support will be supporting Mayor Brandon Johnson's re-election campaign. The union is pumping serious money into political races to control education, which that's why our children don't know anything. The city politics, that's why our politics are in shambles right now, and our city is in shambles. And his agenda, Brandon Johnson's agenda. I'm trying to do this. State Policy Fund, $500,000 is planned to pressure state lawmakers for their agenda. They want to push for new tax hikes and borrowing authority to bail out Chicago public schools. CPS is already the second largest junk bond issuer in the country, right behind Puerto Rico. Taxpayers are on the hook for risky debt while the union fights for more money through taxes and borrowing. This is CTU, y'all. Like this is why forensic audits are important, and that's why we have to demand it, and we have to start mobilizing and organizing and getting these people up out of office. Start writing the Department of Justice. We should be writing the Department of Justice every day. If you have a child that is in CPS, was in CPS, you used to be a CPS kid, you used to be an educator, anything like that, and you see the detriment of what CTU is doing to this city and doing to our children, doing to our parents, y'all should be writing downstate. Y'all should be writing Department of Justice demanding that they come and investigate CTU and the people that are over CTU, and of course our mayor. This is a RICO. This is a full-blown RICO. It's right in our eyes, and nobody's saying nothing. People are saying stuff, but it needs to be in masses of us writing the Department of Justice. Another political activities that's on here as well. That's miscellaneous. They always got a line item for miscellaneous. Another $400,000 budgeted for vague political activities. The union spent over $3.3 million on political activity from 2023 to 2024. And what have you seen? What have you seen? Okay. We don't know what, because this is miscellaneous, so we don't know what the $400,000 is going to. They lack transparency because they're nothing but habitual liars and lie. So you don't know. So it's probably being funneled into politics and probably pushing for no other than Stacey Gates to try to probably go hard into being the next mayor of Chicago, because they know no way he's going to win and no way any of these other Democrats really are going to win. No man, like I said, I can't see no man getting in there, especially no black man. So they're going to push for her, because me and Danielle was coming out of Whole Foods in Hyde Park about a month ago, or maybe about 3 weeks ago, and she was there. She was in there, and there was a white liberal lady, and she was so happy to see her. And I remember walking out, and she was like, "That's Stacey Davis Gates. She's the most powerful person in the state." So she thinks like that. I don't know. Maybe some other people think she's the most powerful person in the state. So they're probably pushing for her to run because they need to keep that mayor seat. We're dealing with the Marx. We're dealing with Marxists. We're dealing with corrupt preacher kids. We're dealing with AKA, with the Divine Nine gang, especially the AKAs here, because the AKAs run this city too. So yeah, you're dealing with it's a lot, baby. So the people got to rise up. Record spending on union overhead, more than $9 million planned for 2026 just for union officer salaries, a 22% jump from 2023. So they got $9 million planned just for CTU union officer salaries. We ain't got no money. Y'all ain't got no money. We ain't got no money. But y'all got a 22% jump up from 2023. This means more union leaders are making bigger paychecks while Chicago families face budget crisis. Union leadership is cashing in big, even as the city struggles with public school funding and taxpayer burdens. So they got money to go down there and lobby $500,000. Then they got their $9 million. They want their $9 million so they can keep funding these crazy union salaries. I mean, come on. So what does this mean for Chicagoans and my CFR supporters? The Chicago Teachers Union is using massive sums of money to buy influence over school board seats, city council races, and even the mayor's office. They are pushing for tax hikes and risky borrowing, which puts more pressure on working families and taxpayers like you, like me and you. Meanwhile, union bosses are screaming at the top of their lungs of how much the Republicans get, the billionaires get, and how the orange man is in there messing up the education and shut all of this shit down, Trump. Shut it down. Increasing their own salaries by more than 20%. So they're gonna increase their salaries to 20% while they complain and say that we need more resources for the schools. We need more resources for the kids. The federal government is stopping funding, and that funding is harming our children and harming our schools and harming our resources. Meanwhile, we're gonna make sure our salaries remain up to six figures almost. I mean, they getting crazy money, $200,000-$300,000 a year to just lie and complain and get on and pay the news. That $400,000 miscellaneous probably is going to go to Tribune and Sun Times and whoever else, Block Club or Tribe, whatever that black piece of shit newspaper is, because they not about that life. You know, all of them like this. You know, they Crusader, all that. Throw them a little bit of money to write their little narrative. Cause this is criminal. This is criminal. The Chicago Teachers Union also plans pouring $4 million into local politics ahead of the next mayoral election. So basically, they're gonna give him $4 million. The document also reveals record spending on union overhead and office salaries. Like no signs of slowing down, and they're not going to. So Chicagoans love their teachers, but they have growing resentment towards the union's militant leadership, because that's what it's starting to be. Because it's communist. I'm trying to tell you, we are. It's basically like Debo coming in and just setting up shop and just taking everything, like what Debo was doing in Friday. That's exactly what this leadership has turned into on the CTU side. And they have the main person at the front, Stacey Davis Gates, because she's a black woman, you know, and they want to put the black woman there to act like we're attacking her, and don't let a white person, don't let anybody white say anything against her, because it's attack on her being a black woman, and she's doing the right thing and she's getting this stuff together and all this stuff. So yeah, that's how this works. That's how this game works. Under Gates and Jackson Potter, don't forget Jackson Potter, bitch ass. CTU has become the city's top political spender. Only 29% of Chicagoans view CTU favorably, while 60% view it unfavorably, and that was in January. President Gates has an 18% favorable rating versus 55 unfavorable, but she was able to get back in there because she's installed. That's why we need the feds in Chicago. It needs to be Operation Grey Lord 2.0. Come get all these people. Okay. The Wall Street Journal summed up the backlash well after Chicago voters rejected the Bring Chicago Home real estate transfer tax increase supported by CTU and Mayor Johnson. The vote shows the CTU is beatable, and they are beatable. They are done. That's why they're going to try to steal this election, and they're going to try to install all these black women in the front. Okay. They're gonna go get them some AKAs and Divine Nines, and they're gonna get them some black real estate agents. It's gonna be black this. They're the first black to do this, and the first black to champion this, and the first black to do this, the first black to not to. It's always gonna be the same blacks to continue not to do shit, but they're gonna install these black women. That's what the Democratic Party do. That do not care about you, that's going to come and say the same thing over and over again to get that money. So so it's about to be Hunger Games up out this motherfucker, because I'm trying to tell you, they are getting ready. They are getting ready right now. I'm pretty sure out of these 252 people watching, it's about 4 or 5 that are watching for them. All right. I'm just giving out the information to the people. That's just basically what I'm doing. CTU money also has dominated the November school board elections. You already know that. But with disastrous results nationally, teachers union-backed school board candidates win about 70% of competitive races. CTU should have expected similar success, especially in Chicago, but it didn't. But in November, CTU-backed candidates lost 6 of 9 competitive school board seats, including 5 of 6 races where the union spent over $200,000 on a candidate. CTU spent nearly $2.9 million on school board races, and more than $2.1 million, 75%, went to losing candidates, and that is according to Chicago Policy Center. So shout out to Chicago Policy Center for doing that work, because that work needs to be said and told. So who pays for all of this? The vast majority of CTU's $40 million annual budget comes from teacher dues, automatically deducted from paychecks by Chicago public schools and sent to the union. So y'all, the teachers is paying for this. And I think that y'all union dues, I think y'all like low on funds. I think y'all already owe like $30 million. So I don't know. Maybe y'all trying to. Yeah, it's crazy. However, the 2016 Supreme Court ruling in Janus versus AFSCME guarantees that public sector workers can't be fired for refusing to pay union dues. Yes, I would stop if I was working for CPS as a teacher. I would not be paying not one due. Not one due until we get some forensic audits and until they get some better leadership, because y'all are wasting y'all time and y'all dues, and they're not protecting the teachers when they really need to be protected. And we'll be discussing that on Wednesday, because I'm honored to have 2 former public schools teachers that will be on the platform Wednesday explaining all of this. Yeah, like my mom says, all they have now is female gangsters. To comply, CTU offers an opt-out window every August. Teachers who want to stop paying dues can visit leavectu.com to do so. Yeah, so yeah, teachers, I would leave CTU ASAP. All right, take that off. Real bad out here, man. People out here just taking advantage. Taking advantage. Taking advantage. Taking advantage. Taking advantage. It's crazy out here. It's crazy out here. And they want us to be distracted, which is crazy. Which is nuts. All right. Here go y'all favorite. Is your favorite man right here. The pathetic. The pathetic. The least and they spent the least on Lynetta Thomas. She was District 9. And the only reason why she was winning, but the only reason why they only spent that much was because she wasn't going to be down for what they wanted her to be down for. So they hurried up and took, you know, took that away. Like, oh, no, you definitely can't do that. You can't be smart. You can't do that. All right. All right, we're back at it. So, as you know, this reject, this Marxist, this corrupt preacher kid went on a news channel to discuss budget talk because the budget is coming up, and he's talking about he's not going to propose a tax, property tax hike, but his CFO said they probably were going to have to, and she is the CFO for the city, and Jason Proctor said today, which made sense, was that he's not going to propose, but he's going to probably try to get his city council to propose. His Hispanic KKK gang, the Jason Irving, the Will Hall, the Ron Mosley, the Yancey, the Angela Clay, the Michelle Harris, the maybe Slow David Moore, even though they offer him a field house. They may just keep telling him they've been offering him a field house since Lori Lightfoot has been in office, and he still hasn't got it. But they'll offer him that or offer him something else, and he'll get their vote for him. Angela Clay, Marie Haddon, Matt Martin probably is not going to do it. But yeah, so he's going to try to get his votes. They're going to try to, the city council, he's going to have one of them propose a property tax hike, but they're going to say he didn't want to do it, but we had to do it, but he didn't want to do it. So they're going to try to switch it or something like that. You know how they do. So, as you know, we're between $1 and $1.2 billion in debt from the budget. The city of Chicago is facing an estimated 1 to 1.2 billion budget shortfall for fiscal year 2026. Even before any cuts to federal funding, some city council members argued the true gap may be closer to $3 billion. Now, they could say city council, but me, Miss Jessica, and some other people was coming down there, and we was talking about how much it was, and they were listening to us. And there were some that broke down too that it was an issue, but we came down there arguing about that budget. Now I know this man has stole $3 billion in illegal immigration money. So y'all can sit here and talk about that $675 million immigration money. Nah. Okay. And so, but yeah, they are definitely in a bigger hole than the 1 billion to $1.2 billion. But it wasn't city council. Like, the people came down there acting a fool. You understand? There was a few that stood up. Scott Wegerspeck was one. Ray Lopez, Bill spoke about it. Riley spoke about it. But a lot of that stuff came from us as well. Like that was us going down there acting a fool. Nobody don't want to talk about that $1.8 billion that was laundered through public health for epidemiology. Nobody don't want to bring that up, but that was when they started looking towards certain things. When I brought that up about that $1.8 billion in epidemiology, that didn't make any sense. I can't wait to see if they're gonna have. I wonder what they probably not even gonna have that in there no more to that, because now they got to find another way to launder another $1 billion in somewhere. All right. So the worst mayor of all time, it don't get no worse than this man right here, And this is what happens when you also put in a corrupt preacher kid. See, he is a son of a preacher that probably was corrupt, and he's corrupt, and his homeboys is corrupt. His other, like Tory Barrett, T.L. Barrett's son, another corrupt preacher kid. So when one corrupt preacher kid link up with another corrupt preacher kid, this is what we get: $3 billion in debt, money all over the place. It's just we fucked up. This right here is nigga politics. This right here make you never want to vote for another nigga again, because they just fucked up the whole budget. 3 years in a row. It's going on your third year of the budget just being fucked up. But anyway, so Mayor Johnson's budget strategy refusing. He's going to refuse property tax hikes, but I told you how he's going to do it. And like Jason Proctor's going to do, he's going to smooth it in, try to get those people or whatever to try to propose it. Trying to figure out who he's going to get. He's probably going to have slow-ass Jason Irvin stand up with one of those ugly suit jackets on and try to explain to us why this makes sense. Or they're probably going to ask Pat Dow to do it. And Pat Dow, I rock with you, Pat Dow, but please don't do it this year. Please just let it fall, okay? Please just let it fall. Don't do it this year. Please don't do it this year. Like this, stop bailing out this idiot. Stop bailing out this idiot and stop bailing out those progressive aldermen down there, and then them young ass, slow ass baby coon aldermen that come from the church that keep voting his way too. Stephanie Coleman, stop voting his way. Okay? Will Hall, stop voting his way. Ron Mosley, stop voting his way. He's terrible. He's y'all is making y'all look bad. I don't care how many pictures that y'all want to take with the seniors and all that shit. That does not stop. That does not, like, none of that fixes all the empty lots that we have in our community. None of that fixed. None of we don't have no infrastructure. We don't have no businesses. We don't have anything. Y'all keep voting for his best interest, not your constituent best interest. And y'all are going. I'm trying to tell you, like, this is not a game. Your AKA sisters are not going to be able to help you. Y'all church family is not going to be able to help you. Like, real talk. Like, people are tired. So y'all really need to go ahead and, like, just like how y'all don't come to work and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Y'all really need to go ahead and distance yourself from this man. Because I'm trying to tell you, budget season is about to happen, and I am going to be at every budget meeting like I have been for the last 2 years. But this time, I'm bringing everything, everybody, and I'm going live because I need people to understand how y'all don't know nothing. Y'all don't know anything. Y'all just got in these jobs because of y'all know somebody. Y'all clicked up, but y'all are absolutely incompetent. Now, Johnson has ruled out raising property taxes in his upcoming budget proposal, positioning himself against past failed proposals. He emphasized that his budget will not include a property tax increase in my budget or this fall. Progressive revenue. His administration is instead proposing progressive revenue measures targeting loopholes for the ultra rich. The ultra rich is him. This nigga, this is a billionaire right here. He the first black billionaire mayor that's about to go to jail for stealing the billions of dollars that we paid into this system. But this is a billionaire right here. He is about to try to win he's probably going to try to take this whole election. He's going to try to buy off every black person that he can buy off to stay in office while ignoring me, while ignoring my family, while ignoring other people who are dealing with city issues and lawsuits. He's by far ignoring all of that, but thinking that it doesn't matter because I got billions. I'm gonna buy off this. I'm gonna show you. Like that's what he's on. Because if you listen to this, what man. So he wants to look for loopholes for the ultra rich, corporations, loopholes, ultra rich and corporations. So basically, high payroll taxes, digital ad taxes to fund investments in, of course, affordable housing. That's these buzzwords right here: affordable housing, youth programs, mental and behavior health care, community safety initiatives, avoiding layoffs or furloughs. Johnson affirmed that furloughs and layoffs are not being considered, and which it needs to be. He needs to lay off a lot of his whole incompetent administration. Because right now they about it ain't this game on now. Like they about to start. I mean, taking over. Like it's about to be on. So he about to be on his trying to be a vice lord. Like he say he's a vice lord. He gonna try to break it down. Like he gonna try to be like this vice lord, and he gonna run that city. He gonna run city hall how he want to run city hall. He's gonna take money out of different things, and he's gonna keep lying and saying the same stuff. I'm building a bigger, a better, safer, affordable Chicago. I'm da 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 da. I'm da 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 da. This nigga's a piece of shit. And are not being considered at this stage, and that his workforce is central to city operations. Efficiency and budget modernization. The administration plans to explore modernizing and streamlining operations, leveraging technology and efficiency gains in all city departments. Alderman Scott Wagesbeck and others warned the mayor in December 2024 about an emerging crisis, which critics say he ignored while focusing on the fiscal year 2024 about an emerging crisis, which critics say he ignored while focusing on the fiscal year 2025 budget. They argue that a more realistic estimate of the 2026 shortfall would be around $3 billion and stressed that significant cuts should be in the table addition to the new revenue. Then, his bitch ass, he hosted series of budget roundtable events across Chicago. I don't think the media was allowed to come in there. And they were to gather public priorities and input ahead of finalizing the 2026 budget. Then they hired Ernst and Young. I don't know why. But these sessions centered on themes such as affordable housing, mental health and public health, community safety, environmental justice and infrastructure, neighborhood development, arts and culture, a working group of civic, business, and labor leaders, his clique that he only rocks with, to have specific recommendations to close the deficit. While with findings expected by late August 2025, Brandon Johnson is responding to a looming $1 billion plus budget shortfall with a plan to avoid, of course, raising property taxes and leans on progressive revenue. So I'm going skimming through it. Okay, yeah, so right. So this is the largest projected deficit in recent city history. And the with it being exceeding to $3 billion, When accounting for it, they talking about the federal COVID funds that dried up, pensions, debt servicing, long-term infrastructure needs, even though he just stole $832 million in infrastructure money. New illegal alien-related spending pressures, and then expanding social services programs that's championed by a piece of shit Johnson. Was driving the deficit, expiration of federal ARPA COVID funds would temporarily plugged budget holes in 2023 to 2025. They basically don't have no more of that money because they stole all of that. Ballooning pension obligations. 4 city-run retirement systems remain underfunded. Chicago has one of the highest municipal debt burdens per capita in the U.S. And illegal immigrants and sanctuary policy spending increased pressure on housing, education, and public health budgets. So yeah, and then we have no major tax revenue source yet realized, despite campaign promises. So he wants to tax the rich and want to be focused on head tax, reintroduce payroll tax for large companies, tax on employees with more than 50 employees, financial transaction tax, taxing trades made on the Chicago Exchange and Board of Trade, which is fiercely opposed by business groups, real estate transfer tax, mansion tax, increased transfer tax on properties sold over $1 million. That failed in March 2024 with that referendum, but it's still being floated. Digital advertising tax, new tax on digital ad platforms like Facebook, Google, luxury hotel tax increase, TIF reform, redirecting TIF surpluses to the general fund. This required city council approval or state legislative. He basically ignored all these warning signs in December 2024 when people were coming down there and telling him. And then, of course, in 2025, so now he's trying to figure it out, because I really think that he didn't think he was going to get this much pushback, because as a black man raising 3 black kids on the west side of Chicago, he would not have thought that black people was going to push back the way that he did. So that's one of the issues. So will this work? If Johnson stays true to his anti-property tax pledge, which he has no choice, and he could try to put it on the his Hispanic KKK gang members and the Do Nothing Black Caucus that sides with him, but it's not going to work. He might still retain support from labor unions, progressive groups, and social justice activists, but labor unions are starting to back away from him as well, and back away from the Democratic Party, because it's not what it used to be. Like these progressives have really fucked up the Democratic Party. Like they don't know what they're doing. That's why, and so they're gonna try some real crazy stuff this next election, like, because they watch Soros spend so much money on putting certain people in, so they think they got it on lock by stealing all this government money, and they're going to try to do the same thing. That's why the Department of Justice need to come here and get these niggas. The weakness is there's no clear legislative pathway for many progressive revenue ideas. Business exodus fears if financial taxes are imposed. Lack of spending cuts may draw bond rating agency downgrades. Our bond rating is already down. Like it's down. It's every first time in history. This man right here. This man right here. If the revenue fails to pass, the city could be forced into borrowing, service cuts, emergency tax increases, aka, but they need to go bankrupt. I don't care what nobody say. The plan hurts working families, it drives out job creators, and fails to solve the real problem: government waste and sanctuary city spending. Progressive revenue basically is just another political term that means let's keep spending like crazy and just make the rich or big corporations pay for it. But who qualifies as rich? That's where it gets dangerous. Under Johnson plans, progressive revenue includes new budget take effects, a tax on every employee at companies with 50 plus workers. So that means you got local employers, black-owned businesses, working class jobs, financial transaction tax, tax on trades at CME and Board of Trade. Then you in the whole entire financial sector, jobs that depend on those institutions. Yeah, the small businesses that rely on affordable online marketing. Higher taxes on properties sold over $1 million, retirees selling property, legacy black landowners, commercial investors in Southside redevelopment, increased taxes on visitors and hotels operators. We need that. Like we need the destination money to come in. But we pretty soon you're gonna have people coming here, but everybody's gonna be moving out. So what are they gonna see? We're even losing good restaurants. Legacy restaurants has been like this guy's crazy. Um so to talk about, so to sum this up, progressive revenue is a buzzword that hides a brutal truth. It's a tax on Chicago from your job to your inheritance to your small business. Mayor Johnson is taxing the very people he claimed to fight for. And that's true. This man is not your friend. He is not a public servant. He is not for the people. He is for his own agenda. And he snuck his way in there with that. He just ain't right with the teachers union. And and just he a smooth criminal. Getting sloppy now. He got in there, he was smooth. So yeah, he's absolutely trash. Also, this man is absolutely trash. That's with him, with doing all this, and he's this is really the guy who's really behind all of this. You want to keep it 100. This this guy right here. This is the guy who was running him and his mom was running Brandon Johnson. And honestly, Brandon Johnson has to do what they tell him to do, or Brandon Johnson will be hurt. Okay, he will be hurt. Honestly, he'll probably end up dead somewhere. So this guy right here, him and his mother is running Brandon Johnson, Stacey Gates, the school board members who's part of the CTU, all of that. I was reading up as his mom right there. Okay. These two people right here. I was falling on in a rabbit hole because trying to really figure out how all this works. Hold on, give me a minute. So yeah, I was going on this rabbit hole because I just don't understand majority of these things. But I went and looked at this this lawsuit that was just settled in 2021. So between 2012 and I'm probably a lot of y'all probably already heard of this, but I just am starting to do my research on CTU and it's how all this stuff, why our education system is so messed up and broken and stuff like that, So I just wanted to see. So I saw this, but between 2012 and 2014, CPS implemented a turnaround policy, closing or restaffing 18 underperforming schools, mostly on the south and west sides. Entire staffs were fired. Hundreds of black educators lost their jobs. Most of them never rehired, even though they were told to reapply. This resulted in 2 federal civil rights lawsuits alleging discrimination and racial disparities, especially since in 2006, 33% of CPS teachers were black. By 2024, only 20.7% were black, despite 35.8% of students being black. Now, over a decade later, CPS and CTU reached a $9.25 million settlement. Now, if hundreds of people lost their job and they only settled for 9.25 million, imagine how much each got. So I feel like it's a conflict of interest because CTU claims to represent the harmed teachers, but CTU also helped facilitate the turnarounds that harmed them. CTU supported turnarounds under past leadership. At the time of layoffs, CTU was not fighting back aggressively. In some cases, CTU was complicit or negotiated side agreements that allowed turnarounds to proceed with minimal pushback. CTU leadership has changed since then, but the harm was done under union leadership that failed to defend those teachers, especially black educators, from mass firings. Of the 9.25 million, 4 million, almost half, went to attorneys and court costs. The remaining 5.2 million was divided among 413 teachers. That was 12,700 per person on average, a fraction of what many lost in wages, pensions, and stability. CTU is promoting the settlement as a win, but the union's prior inaction and participation in layoffs mean they are cleaning up their own mess, not winning new justice, and teachers are receiving compensation for harm caused in part of their own union's failure. CTU President Stacey Davis Gate, these two people these two people in this is Jackson Potter and his mother, Robin Potter. And we're going to talk about why, because why I got her there too. CTU President Stacey Davis Gates and CPS CEO Pedro Martinez are now aligned with Mayor Brandon Johnson, of course. And that's because it's a political move. CPS settled the case without admitting guilt. That's standard in legal settlements, but it also avoids transparency. There's no public finding that CPS racially discriminated. Let CTU and CPS walk away clean, while the harmed teachers still suffer the career damage. As part of the settlement, the teachers must drop all claims. They can't sue again. No further public record or accountability. This effectively shuts the door on deeper systematic reform. CTU helped enable layoffs. Then the CTU now benefits from the settlement. They have no admission of guilt. That's my real issue with it. Like, it's, yeah. The union tasked with protecting teachers, especially black teachers, stood down during mass firings. Then it positioned itself years later as the champion of the legal fight. And now it helps wrap up the case quietly, just as it might have exposed systematic racism in open court. So the same woman who champions, well, now that she's in there now, but Stacey Davis Gates champions how they're winning and all this, but also will scream out the systematic racism and how all of this is because of racism, and we will bring out and start talking about, we're getting treated like slaves and all types of crazy stuff, when 413 educators and there's a few other people out here that are on the do not hire list because of these situations, and teachers, and they've been trying to get help from Stacey Davis Gates, from Brandon Johnson, from all these people that have yet to talk about these former teachers that are on these do not hire lists for stupid things, frivolous things, but they're not coming out because of that. They don't care about that, because those teachers that are on that do not hire list are real educators. See, they don't want nobody to really educate your child. They want people who have never educated ever in life, don't know about educating kids, did not go to school for this. They don't want them to do that, because they have a fear of they have to pay them. If they're a tenured teacher, they would have to pay them the right amount of money that they deserve. So they rather, for the price of, just say, if one teacher was already getting $100,000, they rather not hire her, but hire two teachers who are not qualified for the price of one. So why would I pay you when I can just get two teachers for $50,000 a piece and mess up and keep messing up these kids when it comes to teaching, because they're not really licensed to teach, because they don't have no idea what they're doing. But we don't care, because it's a business at this point. It's a business. They don't care about these kids. We don't care about these kids learning. It's a business. Now, the lead attorneys for the plaintiffs for CTU, Patrick Cohen, a partner of Fish Potter Bologna's, served as lead counsel in the case. He was promptly identified as representing the plaintiffs on behalf of the CTU, calling it a challenging but necessary court battle. So Patrick Cohen, who is a partner of Fish Potter Bologna's, the Potter in the law firm is Jackson Potter's mom. So Jackson Potter's mom, law firm, represented these teachers. Robin Potter, co-counsel, worked alongside Patrick, representing the union members. Randall Schmitz, clinical professor of the law at the University of Chicago Law School, co-counseled the case through the Edwin F. Mandel Legal Aid Clinic, working closely with Colin and Potter on a class action strategy. The plaintiff's attorneys collectively paid out $3.6 million. They got paid $3.6 million in legal fees and $400,000 in court costs out of the $9.25 million settled. These attorneys led the nearly 10-year litigation campaign, including class certification, experts. I can never say that word. Statistical analysis, discovery, and negotiation. Their efforts culminated in the court-approved settlement in late 2022, followed by submission and distribution phases in 2023. So they got their $12,000, the 413 teachers in 2023. Now, Robin Potter, a civil rights and labor attorney, and Jackson Potter, current vice president of the Chicago Teachers Union and former chief of staff, longtime union operative, deeply involved in C2U leadership and political operations. If that is not conflict of interest, I don't know what is. C2U is a defendant adjacent entity, or at least politically entangled with the outcomes of these layoffs. Jackson Potter, as a CTU officer and someone who was around during the early 2000s when many of these turnaround firings happened, cannot be separated from the policy failures that led to these lawsuits. His mother, Robin Potter, profited from the legal fees. $3.6 million of the $9.25 million settlement, while her son holds a leadership role in the union that helped enable those very same layoffs. That's not just weird. That's a textbook conflict of interest and potentially a violation of legal ethics. But they don't care. They don't care about ethics. Ethics. Or union fiduciary duty if it wasn't disclosed and approved transparently. So we don't know because they lie all the time. The union failed to prevent the racialized layoffs, then claimed credit for fighting them a decade later, then putting the black token woman at the front. Because, yeah, she's the president and Jackson Potter's the vice president, but who's really the president? Who's really running all this? We're going to put this black girl up here. We're going to make it like she's doing it. And so, like I said, this is what this next battle is going to be. If they're going to put all these black women in the front to try to defeat the Republican white party, to keep this bullshit ass Democrat party, even though they don't realize how many black people are walking away from the Democratic Party and is going to stand with the Republican Party. Women, men, young conservatives, elders, like, ain't nobody playing with y'all, but they are going to do this. They're putting all their money together now, and they're going to put these black women in these positions to try to fight Donald Trump and these white people. So It's all hands on deck, white people. Let's go. Anybody's conservative, you got this going to be. They're about to start. They're gonna try to start with them racism, call us all types of stuff. That's what they're gonna try to do. Okay, it's gonna be any white person that mention anything, you're racist. You understand? So we're gonna have to. It's all hands on deck. This is the final movement. When I say the final movement, this is everybody with common sense, conservative values, that care about their family, their children, their money, their businesses, and just want to live the nice, normal American life when shit was okay. When TGIF Friday used to come on, people used to like going to the movies, enjoying when malls used to be cool, when people could go to the mall and all this stuff. This has gotten real weird. It's gotten real weird, and we got to get it back to some type of normal stuff. All right? All right. So, CTU isn't fighting for teachers anymore. CTU is now a political party disguised as a union, using member dues to fund left-wing politicians, buy media influence, and suppress eternal dissent. They're also helped piece of shit Brandon Johnson, and is going to now help the next person in line, and that next person in line is Stacey Davis Gates. Yes, Stacey Davis Gates. All right. They are protecting each other and not the people, and the educators who were hurt the most, which were those black teachers, that some are on the do not hire list. We need to shut CTU down. They don't have no transparency. They're over politicized, and they are hypocritical, and they play that race game. We need teachers that are paid member dues, are still paying member dues. Dues need to start protesting and asking for that independent audit for all the CTU finances. A full federal investigation into the settlement and conflict of interest and everything else that's happening over there in CTU. A push to strip CTU of exclusive bargaining power, because they should not be in as much control as they are. It's time to shut CTU down and rebuild the system that works for students, educators, and families, and not corrupt insiders. What up, Mo? So, yes. So that is how I feel. And thank y'all for letting me talk. Tomorrow, there's a petition also um, that I would like to discuss real quick. Let me see if I can put this up. Take this piece of doo-doo and his mom doo-doo down. Cause y'all out here running this city down to the ground. So Dr. Rosita, there's a petition that's going on. We're going to talk more about it. All right. So it's on change.org, and I will post it as well after this. But it says demand CPS reform, the do not hire list, support the cause for pillars of justice. We, the undersigned, stand in unwavering solidarity with CAUSE, the Chicago Alliance of Urban School Educators, and demand immediate reform of the Chicago Public Schools CPS do not hire list. We believe the current D&H policy is a violation of the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution, which guarantees all individuals equal protection under the law and prohibits the government from depriving any person of life, liberty, or property without due process. Being placed on a do not hire list without the opportunity to be heard, to appeal, or defend one's name strips educators of their rights to earn a livelihood, tarnishes reputation, and undermines the foundational principle of fairness. The D&H list has been weaponized, particularly against Black educators, union members, and mandated reporters, and has been used as a tool of retaliation and discrimination. Educators have been placed on lists due to subjective evaluations, unverified allegations, and political motivations without any consistent policy or legal threshold. This lack of accountability and transparency fosters racial inequity, silences dissent, and worsens Chicago's ongoing teacher shortage, especially in the schools that need the most support. Even with recent removals from the D&H list under Mayor Brandon Johnson, the underlying issue remains that there is no lawful, transparent, or standardized framework for how the list is applied. The absence of clear policy leaves CPS vulnerable to civil rights litigation, damages public trust, and harms the educational future of our students. CAUSE offers a solution grounded in legal and professional integrity, the D&H four pillars, and clear, fair standard that limits D&H placement to four objective criteria. Criminal conduct, a conviction of a criminal offense that legally disqualifies an individual from working in public schools. Licensure status, suspension of teaching credentials by the Illinois State Board of Education, ISBE, child welfare investigations, a substantiated DCF finding of child abuse or neglect, background check failures, failure of required employment background checks as outlined by CPS or state law. These criteria are legally sound, non-discriminatory, and aligned with existing employment and child welfare law. Adopting them will not only reduce legal exposure for CPS, but will restore dignity, justice, and faith in our school system. We, the undersigned, call on Mayor Brandon Johnson, the Chicago Board of Education, Dr. Macklin King, ED, Interim CEO CPS, to adopt the cause D&H for pillars immediately and implement due process protections for all CPS employees. Let us be clear. Protecting teachers protects students. Due process is not optional. It is a constitutional right. Racial justice and professional integrity must be at the heart of CPS policy. We demand reform. We demand justice. We demand the restoration of the rights of our educators. And that is the petition starter is Dr. Rosita Shatanda and Dr. Marlo Barnett, who's the executive director. I am going to, the decision maker will be Richard Durbin, Tammy Duckworth, and Donald Trump. So, and she has some other stuff too, but she has total of 56 signatures. We need more than 56 signatures, so I am going to put it out there so people can get into that. And also tomorrow at 12:30. Let me get it. So August, there will be no meetings. That's more like their break because they got to get ready for this session. Right. Let's see. Right. Do not hire list. Do not rent list. Do not loan list. Yes. That's exactly. You got that right, Michelle. Sad out here. But they're fighting for the working people and the poor and the while keeping you down. It's the craziest thing. It's the hypocrisy for me. And they think I don't know how long they thought people were going to do this for. Like I said, if I was into this much earlier in my life, whew, I would have been got this. I would have been shut all this down. All right. So tomorrow they will be having a city council at 12:30. We'll be having a committee meeting on education and child development. Jeanette Taylor is the chairman, and Angela Don't Do Nothing Clay is the vice chair. And they will be speaking on the subject matter hearing on the impact of policies from the federal administration on students of the City College of Chicago and other post-secondary institutions, and on how these institutions are responding to these challenges. Also, Dr. Rosita and a few other teachers will be down there because they have they're going to read a statement from CAUSE, and they are calling on them to amend the do not hire list, and they have all the stuff for that. So hopefully they'll do the right thing. But to sit here and try to put all this on the federal administration when it comes to withholding funding, when I just explained to y'all about 30 minutes ago how the CTU leaked budget is trying to push for $9 million to pay the union officers more money. Also, I'm pretty sure in the city of Chicago budget, these 50 disgraced aldermen are going to push for another raise. And they, as you see, they don't do anything. So it's not about wanting to. The only person out of all these people, the only person who is not taking their salary is Donald Trump. Everybody else is taking their salary, but Donald Trump. Donald Trump this is second term. The first term he didn't take his salary. This term he didn't take his salary. But everybody else is is asking for money for their salaries, and they don't do anything. Nothing at all. Try to tell you, these are scammers. These are the real scammers. These are the real scammers. It's big money. It's big money in trafficking poor kids and taking and you're trafficking and making money off of human trafficking and drug dealing and stuff like that, and homelessness and acting like they're trying to change stuff and do affordable housing, these buzzwords and stuff like that. These people are absolute criminals. Criminals. All right. So that's about it. I did 2 hours. So it's good as much. Thank you for the 327 people that are watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for the super chat earlier, Candace. I appreciate that. Our newsletter came out, Volume 6. If you have not subscribed to our newsletter, please go to chicagoflitzred.com and subscribe. Or you can go look at it on our website. So thank you for that. Danny C. As you see, they're trying to get her basement together. She has some flooding from this rain that we had this past weekend. And as you know, she's a trainer, she's an entrepreneur, and she already can't take as many clients as she would want to because life has changed for her, so she can't have everybody at her house. So she only deals with her original clients that she's already had until we can find a bigger place and a place even with us. So my goal is to get a building so we can have everything set up there and have an open door policy for anybody that wants to come and talk to us and need our guidance and help and ready to stand up and wear this t-shirt. You gotta wear this t-shirt. One thing that Danielle has emphasized, that a lot of people do come to us asking for our help, and we don't mind helping because that's just what we are. But you can't ask for our help and then down an organization, then down the party that we are. I'm a Republican. She's a Republican. You're coming to ask Republicans for their help because you're not getting any help from the Democratic Party. They're fucking you over, but you just can't get down with the Republican Party because you don't rock with Trump or whatever. So stop coming to us and asking us for any help if you don't if you are anti-Republican. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? And still keep voting for these same people who are not going to do nothing for you at all. They're not going to stand with you. They're giving you the runaround. They're doing everything. So, or form your own organization and do the same thing that we're doing, just in what you believe in. You're Democrat, independent, whatever. But if you're going to come and ask for Chicago Flitz Red help, you're going to have to put on this shirt and you're going to have to come out here and fight with us, because that is the only way we're going to start getting more people involved into looking into these cases. You know what I'm saying? The Department of Justice ain't going to be able to ignore, 100 and 200 red shirts that keep coming down to City Hall with their issues. That all, ain't no coincidence. They're not going to. The Department of Justice is going to have to come in and do it. The feds are going to have to come in. They're going to have, we're going to have to get some legislation. So I'm just letting y'all know that when it comes to that. So yes, please like and subscribe. We also our 501c4 should be together real soon, and we are happy to announce our first candidate up soon. So yeah. All right, appreciate y'all. Oh yeah, I do have Rumble now too. So if I can get 100 followers on Rumble, then I might start getting somewhere over there. But appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Peace. Doo-doo-doo.